The movie starts with a television interview featuring Johans, a Norwegian researcher. Sometime before this interview, a powerful earthquake had struck a town called Gera. During the discussion, Johans is asked about the cause of the unexpected disaster. Johans explains that the earthquake was unusual because there had been no clear signs or warnings before it happened. He says that earthquakes are natural events, and while they can be dangerous, people should understand them instead of simply fearing them. Soon after, a geologist named Kristian joins the discussion. Following the earthquake, a massive tsunami had also hit the area, and Kristian had played a major role in rescuing many people during the disaster. After the interview ends, the story jumps ahead by 3 years. We are then shown Kristian's personal life. His relationship with his wife Sarah has become strained, and the two are close to getting divorced. Their son Sandra and daughter Julia are also preparing to move away with Sarah to another city. Kristian, however, continues living in Gera, the same place that experienced the earthquake and tsunami. One day, Julia comes to visit him, and he takes her home. Inside the house, Julia notices a room filled with nearly 250 photographs and asks her father about them. Kristian tells her that those pictures belong to people he was unable to save during the tsunami. Kristian still blames himself for their deaths. We learn that he has been carrying guilt for years and has become emotionally broken because of it. His depression affected not only him but also his relationship with his family. Over time, he started believing that anyone close to him could get hurt because of him. This fear pushed him away from his loved ones and eventually caused his marriage with Sarah to fall apart. The next morning, Kristian sends Julia back to her mother because he fears something bad may happen to her as well. Later, the story shifts to a tunnel in Oslo, where a geologist named Conrad is carrying out research. During his work, the ground suddenly begins shaking violently, and within moments the tunnel collapses completely. Kristian later sees the news report on television. 2 people have died in the incident, and Conrad is among them. Conrad was not only his colleague, but also one of his close friends. Shocked by the news, Kristian opens a package Conrad had sent him a few days earlier. Inside, he discovers several documents and research papers, including a detailed report prepared by Conrad. The report mentions that in 1904, Oslo experienced a magnitude 6 earthquake that caused heavy destruction and many casualties. Conrad believed another earthquake could strike the city soon, possibly reaching magnitude 8 on the Richter scale. According to his theory, the epicenter would be located near the Oslo Fort Tunnel. Conrad had also noticed unusual seismic activity around the area and had gone there personally to investigate. After reading all this, Kristian becomes deeply worried because his family lives nearby. Without wasting time, he takes Conrad's research and travels to Oslo. There he visits an organization called Norsar, where both he and Conrad had previously worked. At the office, Kristian meets Johans, the same researcher seen at the beginning of the film, and asks him about Conrad's findings. Johans then shows Kristian a seismic monitoring system used by the organization to detect and track earthquake activity. Johans explains to Kristian that their organization uses advanced monitoring systems capable of detecting seismic activity before major earthquakes occur. He also tells him that the unusual events Conrad had been worried about were likely not signs of an approaching disaster. According to Johans, the activity was most likely caused by construction blasts, so there was no reason to panic. Even after hearing this explanation, Kristian still feels uneasy and believes something is being overlooked. Wanting more answers, he goes to Conrad's house and meets Conrad's daughter, Marit. He asks her about her father's work and research. Marit takes him to Conrad's office, where Kristian finds several rock samples and research materials. He also discovers a map with many marked locations showing areas where Conrad had recorded unusual seismic activity. After studying everything carefully, Kristian begins to realize that the events cannot simply be explained by construction work. The number of strange readings is far too large. He immediately contacts Johans and asks for information about the construction team working around the Oslo Fort Tunnel. Later, Kristian visits Sarah's house, where he meets his son Sandra and Sandra's girlfriend Mia. He attempts to explain his growing concerns to Sarah, but she instead invites him to attend Julia's ballet performance at the opera house the following day. Kristian agrees, and the two spend some time talking together. During their conversation, the power in the house suddenly goes out. Sarah mentions that it is already the second time this week this has happened. She checks the electrical system, but nothing appears unusual. A short while later, the power returns on its own. The next day arrives, and Julia heads to the opera house for her performance. Sarah tells Julia that her father will be coming to watch her perform, which makes Julia very excited. At the same time, Kristian returns to Conrad's office and continues reviewing his research documents. The more he reads, the stronger his suspicion becomes that a serious disaster is approaching. Kristian later asks Marit to take him to the Oslo Fort Tunnel. At first, she hesitates, but eventually she agrees. Together they travel to the place where Conrad lost his life. While investigating the area, Kristian finds an unusual rock sample that catches his attention. He realizes Conrad had probably been studying the same thing before his death. He takes the sample and leaves with Marit. Soon afterward, Sarah calls Kristian and informs him that Julia's performance has already begun. But suddenly the ground beneath Oslo becomes unstable. Almost immediately, the city suffers a major power failure. A minor earthquake strikes the area, causing parts of the opera house to crack and collapse. Inside the chaos, Julia manages to survive and Sarah quickly rescues her. By the time Kristian reaches the opera house, Sarah has already taken Julia back home. Meanwhile, Johans and his team inspect the damaged lower levels of the building and investigate a broken support pillar. Kristian questions Johans about what happened, and Johans explains that the opera house was built in a sensitive area where even a small earthquake could affect the structure. He believes the damaged support pillar weakened the building and caused the incident. Later, Kristian returns home and apologizes to Sarah for missing Julia's performance. He becomes emotional while Sarah tries to comfort him. The following day, Sarah leaves for work and Sondre attends his university classes. Around the same time, Marit discovers an experimental video on Conrad's computer and shows it to Kristian. In the recording, several rats are seen dying under unusual circumstances. After studying it, Kristian realizes that toxic gases may be involved. He concludes that a limnic eruption could be occurring, where dangerous gases rise from beneath the ground through cracks in the earth. He understands that these gases can kill both animals and humans. Kristian finally realizes the terrible truth. If a major earthquake happens, these deadly gases could spread across the entire city. Knowing the danger, he decides they must reach safety immediately. Kristian leaves with Marit and Julia, while at the same time Sondre is still attending his class at the university. Kristian repeatedly tries to contact him, but Sondre does not answer the phone. Johans explains that the unusual activity Conrad had noticed was not necessarily a sign of an upcoming earthquake. According to him, construction work in the area had caused several underground blasts, and these explosions were responsible for the strange readings. Kristian calls the police and lies that there are 4 bombs planted there that will explode in 10 minutes. After that, Kristian goes to a hotel and enters alone to bring Sarah out. While Sarah is doing her work, Julia gets out of the car and goes to the hotel address. Then Kristian sets off the fire alarms so that the other people can also get out. After that, Kristian starts taking Sarah downstairs through the elevator route. Julia arrives there, but by then the elevator doors close and they start going down. Suddenly, the lights go out and they get stuck inside the elevator. People bring Julia inside, and suddenly the ceiling collapses, causing them to lose consciousness. Because of the explosion, the elevator also falls down, and Sarah and Kristian become unconscious as well. At the same time, Sandra's son and his girlfriend go under a table, which saves them. However, the principal and some students die. Meanwhile, the man regains consciousness and goes to Julia. There he sees a hotel worker trapped in debris. The man and Julia help pull the worker out safely. On the other side, Sarah and Kristian regain consciousness and start coming out of the elevator. They see that the building in front of them collapses onto another building. The worker falls down, but the man and Julia save themselves. At the same time, a stone falls on Sarah's leg and Kristian carries her away. After going a little higher, they find the door to the 30th floor open. Kristian uses a rope to cross to the other side, but when it is Sarah's turn, the rope breaks and Sarah dies. After that, Kristian goes upstairs and meets the man and Julia. He takes them out, but then another shock hits and Julia loses her grip. Kristian sees her falling and rushes to save her. Julia falls toward a window and the glass breaks, but Kristian catches her just in time. Then the man comes and helps both of them climb up. Finally, the 3 of them get out of the hotel safely. Later, the man goes to his father's office, which has been completely destroyed, and he finds an old childhood picture with his father. Kristian, Julia, and Sandra later return to their house because the whole city of Oslo had been badly damaged. And that is where the story ends. So guys, the situation has now become extremely dangerous because Kristian has finally discovered the terrifying truth. A massive earthquake is about to strike, and along with it, deadly poisonous gases could spread across the entire city. Now the biggest question is, will Kristian be able to save his family in time? Will Sondre survive? And can thousands of innocent people escape this disaster? The story becomes even more intense from here with shocking twists, emotional moments, and thrilling scenes that keep getting bigger and more dangerous. If you enjoyed this movie recap, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another amazing recap. See you in the next video.